Well, hello everybody. How is everyone? It's been a while since I've seen you guys. I suppose I owe you an explanation. Yeah. Oh, cool. We got about 9 people here already. Well, first off, in case you don't know, but I'm sure you all do, my name is Dr. Matt Dorsey. I am the CHOQ Chief Scientific Officer and Formulator, Herb Geek, and also known as the CHOQTOR, of course. So yeah, I skipped a few days of doing this. Hello, Chocolala. Hello, Evan. Hello, JJ. Hello, Chuck, Amer, Marius, Sam. Got all the usual regulars here. Someone named What Juicy Say. Cool. Hello. Cool name. JJ. All right. Yeah. So I was feeling just a tad under the weather on Monday, Tuesday, yeah, it's not the Rona. I went ahead and actually just to do my due diligence, did the test. Of course, it's negative. More just like a kind of a little sinus thing, and just feeling kind of run down, and just was not like voice was a tad bit raspy. Was not super in the mood to do that. But that's pretty much the reason. So now you know. But I'm pretty much about 98% at this point. Fortunately, being myself, I know how to treat this stuff. So yeah. Yeah, I don't know. What's up with you guys? How's everybody doing? Chalk Gamer, are you upset? Yeah, it happens. Okay, what Juicy said used to be Treon. Okay, well, cool, nice. It's always hard when people change their names, you know. But yes, I am back in full effect. I will be back for double prize day tomorrow, of course, on Friday. And yeah, human body's a funny thing, you know. It likes to malfunction. Sometimes it likes to malfunction whenever you are probably doing things you shouldn't be doing. I have a fairly strict regimen. I don't do any gluten, any dairy, or any eggs. Typically, those 3 things are completely out of my diet. Recently, this last Thanksgiving, I decided that it would be a good idea to just go for it and then take a whole bunch of enzymes and herbs and celery juice. And I didn't feel as bad as I thought I would. So a few times since then, I've kind of like also, you know, just sort of experimented eating inflammatory foods that probably don't belong in my body. And I am now ready to go back to being just as strict as I have been because, yeah, not worth it. Really, like, that's the thing. And, you know, of course, I say the same thing to my clients / patients, whatever you want to call them. It's like, you know, 30 minutes of pleasure, right, where you eat the cheeseburger with the bacon on it, with the full gluten bun, right, with the cheese, you know, of course. And then you feel awesome for the first 30 minutes, right, because you're enjoying the cheeseburger. And then you feel bad for like, well, if you're me, probably for at least 3 days. And then, of course, you make it more likely when you're eating these foods. They're a favorite food for microbes. So if there is any slight microbial imbalance in your system, that's going to be basically, that's fuel for the fire if you're eating the gluten, the dairy, and the eggs. So, yeah, definitely not worth it. Of course, we're all different. Some of us can kind of get away with just eating whatever we want. I've never been one of those people. One of the reasons I think I'm a good practitioner is that I'm exquisitely sensitive to different kinds of things that I put in my stomach. I can feel immediate changes, you know, literally like if I were to say, for example, drink a nice tall glass of milk, I would feel phlegm forming in my throat and my nose within less than a minute. I can feel it happen that fast. It's not psychosomatic, like it's just obvious, right? So, I mean, of course, I can never prove it's not psychosomatic because we can't do double-blind placebo-controlled studies on this stuff. That's a point that I actually made in what's called. Sorry, get back at the swing of things, guys. For those of y'all who saw The Dark Side of Keto, a point that I made that I think is a point that I would like to see more nutritional researchers and doctors make is that we have no idea how much is placebo and how much isn't when it comes to researching food, right? So if you're researching something that comes in a capsule, let me just grab a capsule to use as a prop here, right? It's extremely easy to design a placebo-controlled study on something that goes in a capsule, right? Because all you have to do is just have an opaque capsule and then have, you know, over here you've got something inert like, I don't know, cellulose. Over here you've got the active. We can never, ever do that with, I should go ahead and probably take that as Apex. We can never do that with food, right? You can't put everyone's 2,500 calories, 2,000 calories of food for the day in capsules. Do you know how many capsules that would be, right? So, ergo, all this nutritional research where we have people eat different ways and we look at what's going on in the body, we'll never, ever know how much was placebo and how much wasn't. It's literally impossible to fit into the randomized controlled, placebo-controlled trial model. So I think that's just a good point to make. And we always have to be, if you're going to be a good scientist, a good commentator on science, you have to always identify the limitations of the model that you're using to discover information. Yeah. So does that make sense to you guys? Let me know what you think about that. All right. So let's see. We got some questions here. Have you heard of Kachava? CHOQ Gamer, I have, but I can't remember what it is. Does it have kava in it? It sounds like kava, perhaps. Tell me about Kachava. What is that? Someone has mentioned it to me before. Let's see. What else we got here? Evan says, glad you're feeling better. Thank you so much, Evan. Yeah, well, like I said, the nice thing is that I tend to recover very quickly. I've noticed that, have you guys ever noticed that so here in Austin, Texas, what has happened is we actually, things got nice and cold, right? About a month-ish ago. For a little bit, it was definitely jacket weather. And then all of a sudden it just got way warmer. And I've noticed that there's something about that switch when it starts to cool off, but then all of a sudden gets like hot and humid again, relatively speaking, that seems to really throw people's systems off. And I've remembered past times when I think it was during that exact same kind of strange transition when I've had things go on with me as well. So anyway, but yeah, it's always a good lesson. I think, Chinese medicine is pretty obsessed with the weather, right? And rapid changes in weather tends to destabilize the body. They tend to introduce what we call wind in Chinese medicine. Wind is like, a form of like, oftentimes the way that we would categorize like a cold, for example. But wind is like, wind is a form of chaos, like the winds of change, for example. And, the metaphor here is that the more we're able to strengthen, to tonify your body, to keep your body strong, the more it can resist the chaos, right? And so from the perspective of the chaos of the world, the winds of change, which are definitely blowing like crazy these last couple of years, right? Everybody's feeling it. We have this quickening. Everything's accelerating. Everything's getting less predictable, right? More chaotic. People are going a little crazy, right? And so the idea is that as things get more chaotic, it behooves us to use whatever strategies we can to stay in balance so that we are not swept up in the chaos. And of course, when it comes to stress and stress pathways, adaptogens are the number one way to do that as far as herbs go, right? Your herbal adaptogens, your rhodiola, your tonka, your ashwagandha, your shilajit, all those are all going to be compounds that are herbs rather that enhance your ability to withstand the chaos, the winds of chaos, the winds of change, basically. Another really cool thing about wind is if you think about sailing, right? So if you're a good sailor and the winds are whipping around and moving, what you do is you figure out how to move your sail to work with the wind and not against it. And so that's kind of a cool metaphor psychologically where, instead of fighting against what's happening in the world and the winds of change, right, we kind of say, okay, how can I work with this, instead of resisting it. So that metaphor of not resisting and being able to work with and actually utilize the winds of chaos so that you can even potentially thrive during chaotic times. So a lot of really cool metaphors in there. I like it. All right. What Juicy say? Unfortunately, the question that you asked is not legal for me to answer because that is a disease term. Those are disease terms that you used. And so by law, I'm not allowed to talk about that. Just wanted to let you know I was not ignoring your question, but that's just, them's the rules. Yep. All right, let's see here. What else we got? Evan says, I was gifted some dark chocolate with a lot of sugar, been so tempted not to eat it. Well, Evan, dark chocolate usually has, because it's dark chocolate, it necessarily by definition has less sugar than other kinds. But if you're trying to avoid all forms of refined sugar, I totally get it. I think a small amount of, organic cane sugar once in a while is probably not that big a deal. But if you want to be really hardcore about it, I totally get that. And much respect. Kachava is a powder meal replacement, much like a protein. There's a lot of good stuff in it. Okay, cool. Yeah, nice. No, I'm good on the email, but thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. All right. Sometimes you need a good hot ginger tea, soft blanket, and cuddling to heal. Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? There is, and not to say that anyone who has any kind of issue who is suffering, not to downplay the suffering, but there is a way of looking at issues with the body, right? Problems as potentially opportunities, right? So sometimes it's an opportunity to reflect on, hey, I'm not resting enough. I'm not eating the right foods. I've been eating too much junk, right? Or just whatever it is, sometimes it's an opportunity to do that. And so whenever your body shows some kind of imbalance, that's actually sometimes the best thing that could happen to you if you actually listen to what your body is asking. Sometimes your body's just like, okay, I want you to eat better. I want you to rest more. I want you to stress out less. I want you to do stress relief techniques, meditation, right? And so if you actually get the message that your body is saying, hey, can we please increase our game here as far as, there's certain things I need you to do, your body says, for example, to keep me healthy. So in that case, then it can be a real blessing to have some sort of issue pop up, right? And other times, it tends to be just, especially in modern culture, one thing I've actually been reflecting on personally is needing to slow down. So I've even found myself recently just like going too fast in general, like trying to go to the grocery store and just being like impatient every time there's traffic, right? Not wanting to slow down, wanting to get there now, walking too fast, if somebody's walking slow, like aggressively walking around them, things that everybody does. And it seems to me almost like that kind of behavior is increasing. But, just remembering that there is a lot of wisdom in slowing down. And sometimes also our bodies will manifest imbalances to force us to slow down, And so as long as we actually do and we listen to the body, it ends up being a really helpful thing, But yeah, I think that as the world tends to get faster and crazier, and as people act a little crazier and more, and there's just more chaos, I think that it's kind of a radical act to slow down. And so that's something I've definitely been reflecting on myself recently, even just yesterday, just noticing everyone moving really fast and just this need to slow down basically. So yeah, sometimes you got to slow down. Also sometimes, take it one step further regarding the autonomic nervous system. You've got your sympathetic and your parasympathetic. Sympathetic is fight or flight, as I'm sure all you all know. Parasympathetic is the opposite. It's the yin to the sympathetic's yang. Parasympathetic is rest and digest, also called feed and breed, right? It's also for healing, and the parasympathetic is the yin. It is the slower, right? It slows your heart rate down, for example, and it slows your brain down. Whereas sympathetic tends to increase heart rate, increase, neurotransmission, or rather just general nervous system speed. And so slowing down is sometimes the only way to heal, right? Just taking time even throughout the day to just pause. It's very hard, even for people such as myself who have maybe more experience doing breath work or meditation. Even for me, I tend to get caught up in this need to get everything done as fast as possible and just moving way too fast. So yeah, even just a small little imbalance like this, like a minor, sinus infection kind of thing, even something like that is enough to help me reflect. And so it actually becomes something very helpful. It's like, okay, I need to slow down, So yeah, it's good to slow down. It's hard to because everyone else is moving so fast though. And so you feel weird because you're like, well, I want to move fast like everybody else, right? I want to walk around like a chicken with my head cut off, just like everybody else. Let's see here. All right, what else we got here? Yes. What Juicy say? I see that you did ask that same question, and again, that question that you asked for the second time, that's the one I was referring to when I said that I can't legally answer it because it involves disease terminology. So I am very sorry that I can't do that, but it is not legally compliant for me to address that question. Evan says, what is your favorite herbal tea? Oh, and I like this next question. Do you have any sleep tips? Absolutely, I sure do. My favorite herbal tea. Actually, here, I'll show you right now. This stuff is awesome. Lemon Balm. I mean, this is one of the better brands out there, but whatever. Because they're not making supplements, I feel comfortable recommending a brand. But yeah, Lemon Balm is fantastic. Great for the immune system. It facilitates GABA, your calming neurotransmitter. Yeah. Speaking of GABA, I need a massage. But yeah, so Lemon Balm's awesome, and it actually tastes good. A lot of herbs that are really good for you don't always taste good. As you know, if you ever put one of these guys directly on your tongue open the capsule up, that not all herbs taste good. Lemon Balm is actually delicious. It goes really well with raw honey. Absolutely fantastic. So that's probably one of my favorite herbal teas. It might almost be a tie between Lemon Balm and hibiscus. I don't drink hibiscus that often, but I really like hibiscus. Let's see here. So yeah, sleep tips. So many. So yes, Babinski. What are my sleep tips? So number one, you might want to try ashwagandha for healthy sleep, because when your stress hormone cortisol levels are within a certain range, then that can support healthy sleep. Having excess amounts of cortisol sometimes at night cannot be the best for sleeping. But yeah, in general, so here's some tips. If possible, make sure that you have it as dim as possible in your residence, with all the lights just, minimum amount to function for several hours before you go to sleep, right? Have the lights nice and low. Of course, you can get those glasses. I don't have mine around, but you guys have seen I used to wear those glasses, right? The blue blocking glasses. Those are helpful. Also, make sure that you don't have any kind of stimulants. Obviously, any even cacao, caffeine, right? Things like that. Probably most of y'all don't smoke, but if you do, try not to have too many cigarettes at night because that's another psychostimulant. Cut those off as early as possible. Ideally, you want to cut off caffeine, other stimulants around 2 or 3 p.m. at the latest, maybe even by noon, something like that. That's another sleep tip. Another one is read before bed. Obviously, you don't want to use anything with screens. The only exception to that would be e-ink, like a Kindle. An e-reader, such as a Kindle, uses a different kind of screen technology where it's essentially just like paper. It's e-paper, they call it, not e-ink. I think it's e-paper. And so that actually works. And I do use my Kindle before bed. So reading before bed's great. Obviously you don't want to be watching videos or movies or anything like that for a while. That will keep you up. Another sleep tip. This is just I found for me. I don't know how many other people have this, but if I'm in the living room, right, and I fall asleep in the living room, and then I have to get up and walk all the way into bed, for some reason, that act of getting up wakes my body up so much that it will take me a very long time to go back to sleep. I don't know how many of y'all have that, but that's definitely a thing for me. So I find if I am hanging out in the living room, watching, Netflix or whatever it is, and I do want to actually fall asleep soon, I should actually just cut it off and then go to sleep in my bed, and not fall asleep and then wake myself back up. That's another sleep tip. How many others? Here's one that you won't hear very often. I do get this from Medical Medium, actually. Mangoes at night. Mango is actually very relaxing. A lot of people think that carbohydrates are like stimulants. And yes, the brain does require them. They do help with basically clarity of thought, and with focus, of course, but they are not strictly like a stimulant, carbohydrates, especially when we're talking about, of course, whole food, natural carbohydrates that come from fruit. But mangoes actually have a compound called myrcene in them, which is a terpene. It's a terpene that's also found in cannabis and various other plants. And myrcene has a very calming effect on the nervous system. So mangoes are actually great. I will make a mango smoothie sometimes if I'm hungry at night and I do sleep better. Eating potatoes at night, interestingly enough. So generally speaking, you don't want to eat anything too late, right? But if you do eat anything, it's actually good to eat mangoes is a really good one. Or a little bit of honey, actually. So yes, healthy carbohydrates can actually help you with sleep. But I'm sure I can think of a bunch of other tips, but hopefully that's good, Babinski. All right. And let's see. And of course, I should probably say other supplements. Just for the sake of being thorough, I'll say, as far as other sleep supplements are concerned, magnesium taurate is excellent. The taurine helps it be more relaxing even than regular magnesium. And theanine is excellent. Many, many different herbs out there. Try to avoid valerian because a lot of people, valerian will actually keep them awake. Kava can do the same thing. Kava is relaxing, but it can also keep you awake and prevent sleep. Lemon balm is good for sleep. Ashwagandha, of course, we mentioned, can be helpful for sleep. Let's see what else. Inositol is another really great one. I love inositol. Reishi can be helpful for sleep as well. Let's see what else. Black seed oil or black seed extract, very calming. There's a really great, I actually use a custom Chinese herbal regimen, rather a blend of two formulas. I don't even remember the English because I just know it all in Chinese, but I'm sure no one will know what I'm talking about. But I use two formulas blended together for sleep. They're from Chinese medicine. One of them is called Suanzhao Ren Tong, and the other one is called Qian Ma Go Tong Yin. So if you do have an acupuncturist who can prescribe you Chinese herbs, there are some cool Chinese herbal formulas for sleep too. Yeah. All right. Moving on. Licorice lemon balm blend, Evan. Yeah, very cool. That's awesome. Yes. Slowing down while eating, definitely a good idea. Yeah. I got 2 old pint glass pickled jarfuls this summer. Nice. All right. And someone's mentioning, no LED lights. Obviously, electronic devices. Yes, you want to get as far away from using electronics anytime before bed if possible. Meditating before bed is also great. By the way, did you guys know that not sleeping actually is almost like tantamount to letting garbage accumulate in your brain? That there's a metabolic waste that's actually removed from your brain during deep sleep. And the only time your body can do this, your brain can do this, is while you're in the deep sleep state. It's almost as if your nervous system has to be like practically shut down where it's not being used hardly at all to do this. But there are these actual channels that open up and they take waste from the cells and they actually shuttle it out of the brain through what's called the glymphatic system. So yeah. Yes. So if you're not sleeping, you're basically letting garbage accumulate in your brain. And this is funny too, because to be totally honest, one of the things that I was doing is probably not getting the full amount of sleep I should, recently. So reminder for me as well, just to keep it real. Sleep is very important. We should all get as much as we can. All right. Abigail says, what are you watching on Netflix? Actually, it's usually YouTube. It's usually stuff on YouTube. I'm trying to think of what the last thing I even saw is on Netflix. I did watch, as far as more mainstream kind of stuff, I did watch Lost in Space because the 3rd season came out. And I did like it. I thought it was pretty cool. I do like androids. Speaking of androids, do you guys know what's coming out pretty soon? Maybe in the next, let's say sometime in the next 4 to 6 weeks, probably. That's going to be super awesome. It's called Stay Human Episode 2. Yeah, I don't have it linked on here. I don't have it set up on YouTube yet, but I'll just type it in here. Stay Human Episode 2. Between Two Worlds. So I decided the name yesterday. Episode 2 is going to be called Between Two Worlds. Yes. It'll be probably late January to mid-February, something like that. Give me plenty of time to research it. But if you guys haven't seen Stay Human Episode 1, definitely check it out. It was man, researching that was a lot of fun. Also a little intense, right? Just because of the subject matter. But yeah, definitely recommended. Got to check it out. And I think it might be time for us to do prize 1 really fast. Let's go ahead and do that. Yeah. Let's do that. Yes. So if you wouldn't mind, please give me, the timer has begun. Please give me one number between 1 and 100. It's funny, nobody ever guesses 100. But yeah, please give me one number between 1 and 100. I mean, there's good reason not to guess 100, right? And if it's your first time, you only get one entry. And as soon as the timer goes off, I will type in done. And that will be all the entries that will count. Anything that comes in past the timer will not count. So yes. And we're about to generate a random number here in just a moment. Let's see, you got 24 seconds left to get your random number in. All righty. Almost there. So everybody, this is your last chance. Last chance here. Okay, and that is time. Okay, so the number was 75. So let's see here. All right, looks like Chocolala has 76. Anybody else closer? No, I don't believe so. So Chocolala, you are the official winner. So congratulations. Everybody give Chocolala a round of applause. I'm sure this is not your first rodeo, so I'm sure you know exactly what to do. But in case you don't, email CHOQ@CHOQ.com and tell them which CHOQ product you would like. So great job. Yes. By the way, I will be doing, of course, Double Prize Day tomorrow. It's not going to be quite as long as usual. Not going to be the super crazy hour and a half. It will be a bit longer than usual, but I do have some stuff I have to do tomorrow night. So, but yes, we will still be giving away, of course, double prizes as we do every Friday. So stay tuned for that. I believe it's starting around 4:30. Is that right? Let me just double check that. Check the calendar here. Let's see. Yeah, so 4:30 tomorrow is going to be Double Prize Friday. So tune in for that, please, if you can. That would be great. Yeah. All right. And what else do we got here? Let's see. Did I miss any questions? Yeah. How do you know if you're in the deep sleep state? So JJ, you would probably have to have there are devices you can buy, but do you really want to be hooked up to an electronic device while you're sleeping? But there are ways of measuring that. You can, if you had some sort of EEG, but I believe that there are even probably, I think smartwatches can infer that. But I personally wouldn't really want to wear anything electronic while I'm sleeping. Not a great idea. It's funny. A long time ago, guys, I actually got an Apple Watch. I got it very reluctantly because I had a feeling it was not going to agree with me, but I tried it just to see. And right off the bat, when I put this thing on, my entire my wrist and my arm started hurting, right? And I put it on airplane mode so that it wasn't transmitting to my phone, and the pain got where it was almost not there. It was barely perceptible. Eventually, though, I got to the point where I could still tell that it was disrupting me. I could feel something weird going on in my wrist every time I put it on, and I just sold the thing. I was like, nope, I sold it on Craigslist. So yeah, I guess I'm fortunate in that I'm fairly sensitive to EM fields. Fortunate in that it sort of makes me be more careful with them, But yeah, that was interesting, and that was several generations ago of Apple Watch. Now they have the ones that transmit cellular directly from your wrist. So actually, it's one thing for it to use Bluetooth. Bluetooth is a pretty weak signal, right? Because it only travels 30 feet. That's a weak signal compared to a cell phone, an actual cell phone that's strong enough transmitter to go directly to a tower on your wrist, right on your skin. Yeah, not a good idea. Not a good idea at all. Nope. Right on top of, several meridians right here. Do not recommend. Of course, the human body can adapt to all sorts of stuff, but yeah, not recommended at all. Anybody else out there EMF sensitive? I'm curious. I might actually like to go, more into EMFs in episode 2 of Stay Human as well. What do you guys think? Are there any topics on, surrounding the whole AI thing and transhumanism that you guys think I should go into for Stay Human episode 2? I'm curious. What would you like to know about? Evan says, I'm very sensitive to EMF. I use shungite and orgonite. Nice. Yeah. As you guys know, I'm a huge fan of shungite and orgonite. Right here. I have several pieces of orgonite on my desk. I have actually 3 pieces that are here all the time. Actually, I've got some selenite right here too. And also some quartz. And I do have quite a bit of orgonite all throughout my apartment. I also used to make orgonite a long time ago. That was fun. Yeah. Always good to have some orgonite on hand. Don't leave home without it. You guys ever seen one of these things? These are cool. Oh, wait, what happened? Oh, man, looks like my monitor went out. That's not good. It's funny. I started talking smack about technology, and now all of a sudden my technology is malfunctioning. That's hilarious. Let's see if that works. Okay, yeah, it worked. My monitor just went out. But yeah, these things are cool. It's printed like a circuit board, but it's all sacred geometry. And there's this guy who's apparently some sort of healer, psychic or something. And he creates these designs and he has them printed. And you're actually supposed to use it by holding it in different positions with your fingers in different spots. And really cool, actually. Really cool. Yeah, definitely you do feel something when you hold these things. But then again, is it psychosomatic? Could be, who knows, right? But yeah, this one's really cool. They're called power forms. You can see right there, power forms. Yeah. So pretty cool stuff. But yeah, I love all that stuff. I'll say here has a little chunk of tourmaline right here, just chilling on my windowsill. For some reason, I leave it right there. A little bit of tourmaline. Tourmaline's a really common stone to use in orgonite. Of course, the main driver of orgonite always being quartz. But as far as the accessory stones, yeah, very, very common to have tourmaline in there. Most of the orgonite makers I know will use tourmaline as a secondary stone. Let's see what else we got now. See my monitor went out. Yeah. Have you guys been having any tech problems? I'm wondering if it's the thing. It's not Mercury retrograde yet, but I have had like a lot of weird phone stuff recently. My friend, she thinks that there's going to be some sort of major power outage soon. Hopefully not, but we are in Texas, so there was that whole snowpocalypse thing last year. That was nuts. Let's see. Oh, you just put shungite in your water, JJ? That's cool. Nice. Yes. I used to do that as well. Where's the best place to get orgonite? I don't know. I've gotten it at a bunch of different spots online, but I don't have one off the top of my head I can think of. Hey, Daniel, how's it going? Welcome. Yeah, tourmaline is great. Yeah, and if you're not super sensitive to orgonite and crystals as far as actually feeling the energy, what I recommend you do is take. So let's say, for example, let's just pretend this is a piece of orgonite, right? Take it and you can do it with crystals too. Take it and just place it right here, very lightly between your thumb and one of your other fingers. I like to use the middle finger because there's actually there's an acupuncture point right here called pericardium 9, right in the tip of the middle finger, and just hold it like that, right? Very gently. And then just pay attention to how the inside of your hand feels. And you'll be quite surprised oftentimes. Yeah, wow, that feels really intense. I feel like perhaps this needs to be cleansed, or it's again all in my head. I don't know, but that's not the most pleasant sensation. But yes, you will. Many people will, if you do this and you just put your mind inside your hand, try to think about how the inside of your hand feels. You may feel something. Yes, not everyone will, but I used to do that with orgonite, and a lot of people did. The vast majority of people could feel something. Have you heard of the American Redoubt movement? No, I have not, Daniel. That sounds interesting. What's that about? By the way, real quick, I did just notice that we do have 16 people watching, and I've got about 7 thumbs up right now. And hate to be that guy, but if you are watching this and you're digging it, if you wouldn't mind hitting the thumbs up button, every one of those does help us, and that would be super awesome. And I see them going up right now, so thank you for the folks who heeded that message. And yeah, if you're digging it, if you wouldn't mind just hitting the thumbs up button, that always helps us. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate that. Let's see here. So, no, what is the American Redoubt movement? I'm quite curious about that. JJ says, I use a Philip Stein frequency watch, and it helps me with no EMFs. Oh, you know what? I had a client a while back who actually let me borrow his to see if I slept better with it. I couldn't really tell if I did, but I know a little bit of those. That's interesting. A little bit about those, yeah. Yeah, but, I really do wish that, one of these days I'm going to have to fulfill my dream of actually having some land and, get a little bit out of the city. Right now I'm in the city. I'm in Austin, and it's nice being close to everything, but, being deep on the grid like that, not super fun. Yeah. Speaking of the grid, has anybody seen there's a meme going around right now, and the meme basically says something to the effect, it's got a picture of a bunch of people lined up to see the Matrix 4, and there's somebody checking their V passports. And the caption's like, could you imagine showing your V passport to see the Matrix 4? Like, how ridiculously ironic and stupid is that? Have you guys seen the Matrix 4 trailer? Do you think it's going to be any good? I don't know. I'm definitely going to watch it. Definitely going to watch it because it is the Star Wars of our times. But part of me thinks it might not be all that great. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But yes, I do need to get farther out in the country. That's definitely going to happen at some point. I need to get out of the city more often. I don't do it nearly often enough. And fortunately, I live in an apartment complex where I actually have this huge bunch of nature right behind my apartment. So I have deer out here. I have beautiful trees, which is really nice. It's still a complex, but it's like, as far as a complex goes, very, very close to nature. There's a nature trail I can walk to, green belt and stuff. That's awesome, but still not the same. So, yeah. Yeah, that meme is hilarious. I think I might actually finish up early this evening because I still need to give my voice a bit of a rest. As you can tell, it's still a bit raspy from the little sinus thing I had. So let's go ahead and do prize number 2 and perhaps finish up. I do have the timer begun. I do have the timer started. You have 56 seconds to get your number in, your 2-digit number right now. As you can see, the sun has gone down here already in Austin. So the artificial light I have up here is now the main light in here. I am still dialing in my lighting. I do feel like I need slightly better lighting, but it's I've seen worse. But yes, I am going to in the next year try to up the production value of these videos a little bit. I'm going to get a nicer camera and maybe a background that doesn't look like you're taking your yearbook photo. We'll see. All right. Okay, you have 15 seconds left. And anybody doesn't get their answer in yet? All right, let's generate that number. And done. Okay, the number was 22. So who is closest to 22? Abigail has 24. Let's see. Is it Abigail? You guys tell me if that's correct. I believe Abigail may be the winner for prize number 2 today. As far as I can tell, Abigail is the winner, correct? Is that right, guys? Yes. Yes. Unless I'm overlooking somebody. 22, 24, I'll do one more scan. Yep, Abigail, you are the winner. Congratulations. Great job. Prize number 2 probably already from being a regular on here, right? 1 shirt, 1 bag of cow beans. So do the thing. Email the CHOQ folks, the lovely customer service ladies, and claim your prize. Yes. So I'll be back here at 4:30 tomorrow, a little bit earlier. But again, like I said, I have some things I have to attend to tomorrow evening, so I have to do an earlier show. It will be slightly longer than normal, but it won't be the full hour and a half tomorrow. We will still, of course, be giving away double prizes. So I'll see y'all at 4:30 Central tomorrow. Thanks for being here. It's good to be back, even though my voice is still slightly raspy. I'm not like 100%. I'm like 97%. So nice to be back, though. Getting back to the swing of things. Much love, guys. And definitely make sure, if you do nothing else, to stay human.